Today we're gonna present our exponential growth and decay functions project. We're team number 4 and we're going to talk about how the Chernobyl accident occurred back then in 1986, and we're gonna present its relationship with the exponential function of a graph.
Why hasn't been possible to contain the nuclear energy and substances generated by the nuclear reactor's explosion in Chernobyl in 1986? Because radiation is still being produced by the elephant's foot and in large quantities. The elephant's foot is a mixture of sand, nuclear fuel that is highly radioactive and hasn't been taken out, still radiating energy till this day. The substances had not been treated and removed due to extremely high radiation they produce, and the giant size they have. Those materials can be operated for more than 5 minutes. If doing so, it causes death due to the radiation poisoning, and those materials are mostly human
To
size.
begin with, we're going to talk about how dangerous is the nuclear energy. The nuclear energy is dangerous because because their wastes have a lot of radioactivity, and they have to pass through a lot of years, so they lose it. Also, the designing of the nuclear industries in terms of safety are not very simple to make, and it could cause troubles like in the case of Fukushima.
Why is it said that a nuclear reactor generates an exponential growth on the atoms? It's a nuclear chain reaction. It's caused by the constant splitting of the uranium-235. The neutron is absorbed and creates a bigger uranium-235 reaction, releasing even more neutrons to hit more uranium atoms, and creates radiation, creating a constant chain reaction where the molecules grow on a largely exponential rate.
So when we have the nuclear energy and the substances released by the explosion will be dissolved, can they be cleaned out completely? Well, we have something called the law of exponential decreasing that tell us how long a radioactive element will lose the half of the radioactivity. In the case of Chernobyl, this time is quite long. Some Russian ecologists say it could be 300,000 years. So we are considering that it can never be cleaned out completely, and it can never be cleaned out completely in the case of Fukushima and Chernobyl.
Exponential growth is known as development at an increasingly rapid rate. The equation that represents it is y equals ab to the power of x. The main characteristics of the graph are that it is increasing always unless it is exponential decay. In that case, the graph is decreasing.
For the phase 1, first we're going to explain what is exponential growth. The exponential growth is the increase in number and size at a constantly growing rate, as we can see right here. Some of its properties are that the domain is all real numbers, the range is all positive numbers greater than 0. Another property that exponential functions have is that they are one-to-one functions, and also the reference point, it would be always in 0,1.
The Chernobyl accident was caused because of a flawed reactor design that was operated by inadequately trained personnel. The explosion sent at least 5% of the reactor's radiation into the atmosphere. 2 workers died the same day as the explosion, and other 28 workers died a days later because of acute radiation poisoning. It was a direct consequence of Cold War isolation and lack of any safety measurements. In 2011, it was declared a tourist attraction. Number 1. Salt. Salt has been decreasing production numbers since 2010. In 2010, it has been lowering the production number by about 100,000 grams. In 2010, it was 5 million grams. 2011, 4,800,000 grams. 4,700,000 grams in 2012, 4,600,000 grams in 2013, and in 2014 it has lowered to 4,518,439 grams. They have been reducing by 2.5% every year. It has been lowering because people have stopped using so much salt when they cook. For example, if a restaurant kept using 500 grams yearly for 4 years, they would have spent more money and they have more salt. They reduce the salt production so they don't spend so much money. Rabbits in Australia. The population of rabbits in Australia in 2009 was, for example, 1 million. After some breeding rabbits are brought into the country, the population has been increasing by a 3.5% rate every year. This happens because the breeding rabbits have started to breed with the rabbits already living in Australia. The population increase would stop when they run out of Lebensraum, meaning living space, food shortage, or diseases.
Yeah.
In conclusion, the exponential growth is the increase in the number size of a constantly growing rate, as we can see here in our graph.
And an exponential function is a function where we have our x value in an exponent like this one, and the graph that models it could be a line going up exponentially with some limits, and it could be also a line going down exponentially also with also a limit.
And now the exponential decay describes the process of reducing an amount by a consistent percentage rate over a period of time, as we can see here. The characteristics or the properties are also similar to the exponential growth. It's that the domain is all real numbers, the range is from 0 positive numbers, and also it is a one-to-one function, and also the reference point, it would be located in 0, 1. The thing is that it just decreases a variable.
So what are the implications of using nuclear energy? Well, principally it uses a lot of radiation. It implicates a lot of radiation, so it's not quite good, and it can cause several damages to the environment and to the humanity. So we recommend using solar energy, that it's a cleaner energy and it's less dangerous.
About if we were aware or not if there was a nuclear energy plant in Mexico, we were not aware of it, but after investigating we have noticed that it actually is in Veracruz, and we don't think it's safe because it is near the ocean. The wastes could be disposed there and kill a bunch of the marine life. Besides, it's dangerous for the health of people living there, and that's why we disagree with having a nuclear energy plant in our country. Could the Chernobyl nuclear disaster have been prevented? We think that the nuclear plant could have been prevented by suspending the installation of the third nuclear road, even though it was still on beta. The failure of the third road that cluttered the flow of water created this water drain when it was not supposed to happen, making the water to get stuck in the nuclear reactor. Thanks to that, uranium didn't get enough flow of water to cool down, making temperatures rise and creating a leak in uranium. The way that the radiation was stopped from spreading was to build a structure around the danger reactor, so they built a concrete a sarcophagus around the reactor. It was impossible for the radioactive pollution to have reached Mexico because the contaminated air passing through the dense clouds began to rain, that the radiation from the air were the last bits on Russia. Some of the environmental consequences of the Chernobyl accident was the disposition of radioactive iodine floated through the air from Belarus, Russia, and Ukraine, affecting the agricultural fields those places had. The amount of radioactive material on the lakes dispersed rapidly due to the soil that was absorbing that material and taking it to subsoil natural water reservoirs, making the subsoil water Chernobyl radioactive. The new lineage of animals that live on that area have changed, mutations, and the massive killing of some species on the specific area of the event has been present till today. The disappearance of trees on the zone within a large radius have lost the ability to grow, making a massive deforestation. Another consequences in global scale of other nuclear disasters and use of nuclear weapons are that nuclear power plants constantly emit low levels of radiation into the environment, and the radioactive waste is a huge concern. And cooling systems are used to keep nuclear plants from overheating, and there are two main environmental problems about it. And it's that the cooling system pulls water from an ocean or a river source, and second, and after the water is used to cool the power plant, it is returned to the ocean or a river, and this as the water is turned in approximately 25 degrees warmer than the water was originally. The warmer water kills some species of fish and plant life. We feel that the consequences really harm the environment and are really dangerous for people. It may cause more negative consequences in life, such as cancer, contaminating water, killing animals, and other worse things. And the positive things that it may have, such as reducing the CO2 in the world, can be gained by other ways too. We just need to have more environmental education, and a solution for that would be to propose the abolition of nuclear plants, because we can achieve more doing other things than harming the environment with more nuclear plants. For example, we can use the solar energy or the energy of the air. And now you can see some of the evidence that we took while working together. And to end this project, we would like to talk about how we failed doing and working together the project. We think it was a little bit hard to communicate, but even though of that, we managed to end this project successfully. And it was kind of hard for us because we have a lot of stress and we didn't have enough time to make it, but it was cool at the end. A little bit difficult, but we are glad that we could make it through this process.